24 hours since a deadly fire charred 109 devotees at a temple in Kollam in Kerala. No arrests have been made, although 5 people have been detained. The images of the fireworks that took more than 100 lives have been accessed by India Today. Here is how this terrible tragedy unfolded.
The fireworks that claimed over 100 lives. The 8 seconds of horror that spelled doom for devotees at the Kollam temple. As the fireworks detonated with little chance for those. As over 100 perished in a ball of fire, the villains of the Kollam inferno remain largely unpunished. The police have registered a case against Temple Committee President P.S. Jayalal and Secretary J. Krishna Kutti Pillai and contracts. But the authorities are nowhere to be found.
We have come here mainly to assist the district administration for to conduct the investigation, to find out the cause. Prima facie, there seems to be violations of the explosives rules and act.
Temple authorities went ahead with the event despite the DM denying permission, as the local police looked the other way. A day later, 3 unidentified cars with explosives and fireworks were secured by the local police just a kilometer away from the temple.
Not even a kilometer away from the Puttingal temple, there are 3 unidentified cars, as in they have been lying here with a huge amount of explosives and fireworks within this that have been found.
For shaken residents of Kollam, the tragedy at the temple is still unfolding. And with the injured in hospital still recuperating, hope hangs in balance for many.
We have about 7 problem cases. That is because they have been admitted with about 75 to 80 or 90% burns. And these people are really critical.
Even as the embers of Sunday's terrible tragedy are doused, there's a pressing need for temples across the country to heed the sharp warning. With Rohini Swami and Revati Rajivan in Kollam and Akshaya Nath in Thiruvananthapuram, Bureau Report, India Today.
My colleague Rohini Swami is joining me live tonight from Kollam, where this terrible tragedy took place. Also with us is Akshaya Nath from Thiruvananthapuram. I want to go across to Rohini first. Rohini, you are where this terrible fire broke out. I want to understand, where are the temple authorities? I'm told they've gone underground. What efforts are being made to trace them? What are the cops saying? You spoke to some senior police officials. What did they tell you about what they hope will be the time when these people are arrested?
There's a massive manhunt for the temple administration, especially the top officials. Now the president, secretary and the treasurer are the 3 people who the police are on the lookout for. As soon as this tragedy struck, these 3 people along with their families have said to have even disappeared from from Kollam area. Now the police have booked a case against them under various sections of the IPC, but they are the people who my sources have been saying are the people who pressurized especially the locals to say that they want to go ahead with a competitive fireworks. Now competitive fireworks is almost the 2 groups, they compete with each other, especially in these fireworks, and huge amount of fireworks have been was dumped in this area. We're talking close to about Mr. Rahul, and that is what that needs to be pinned down, and somebody needs to take responsibility for it, and that is what the police are trying to look at. But at the same time, they can't turn a blind eye to their own officials who are very much here when this entire incident took place. That also will be a part of the judicial inquiry which has been initiated as to what did the local police, how did they come here, and what were the permissions sought by the temple authorities to go ahead with these fireworks.
Akshay, Kerala is in election season at this time. We are hearing the temple authorities insist that fireworks cannot be banned. This is a part of our tradition, and therefore, despite this terrible tragedy, they will continue in the future. Are political parties united to say that despite this tradition, the time has come to say no to these dangerous firecrackers, put an end to this once and for all? Or are they pandering to the temple authorities that are hugely influential, bring in possibly a lot of votes, and therefore saying, okay, this is tradition, let it continue even if 109 people died.
Right now, the Minister for Temple Authority, he's also the Minister for Health as well. Today, during a press meet, he had mentioned and he had confirmed that the temple in which the accident had taken place was not part of the Travancore board, Devasam board, and hence they didn't have the necessary actions to take care of them or bring them under their purview. But the district collector had already said that she had not given permission for the firework operation that had happened there, the competition that had happened there. Most of the temple authority or the Devasam board members have said that these firework competitions or the firework incident that happens in temples are something part of their tradition and cannot be stopped. Even though 109 lives have been lost, they still insist that this has to go on. But right now, if you see, there's something called Thrissur Puram festival, which is known as the biggest festival in Kerala. And in Thrissur Puram festival, they've decided to not go with the initial firework display which they had earlier planned, but only the main day function will go ahead. But you know, there are widespread outcries here in the state, and there are many patients and relatives of the patients who were here at the Trivandrum Medical College Hospital who were questioning about how such an incident could have taken place and how did the officials give them a permission to conduct such a competition inside a premises which did not have the proper security or facilities. Even though the district collector says that the permission wasn't given, where were the police officials to stop these firework displays is the question, big question that's being asked by the people.
Thank you very much for joining us in the newsroom. Temple authorities continue to insist that this is part of our tradition and therefore fireworks cannot be discontinued with. I've got Rahul Ishwar joining us on the newsroom. In just a moment from now, I'll debate with him about why we can't leave these very dangerous traditions behind, because Sati was at one point in time part of our traditions. Having fireworks at these religious events wasn't originally part of our tradition. It's a tradition that got built up over time. But before that, I want to get you this report, because there are more than 109 people who've died. There are thousands who are mourning at this time. A nation is shocked at what happened in Kerala, and yet there are people who are saying this is tradition, what happened is terrible, but that tradition must go on.
The colossal tragedy at Puttingal Temple in Kerala changed hundreds of lives forever. Hundreds of family members are now mourning the death of their loved ones, people who had gone to celebrate at the temple but ended up paying with their lives. Ramachandran lost his 26-year-old nephew in the temple tragedy, and he's now going to see the mortal remains of his nephew, who he remembers as vibrant and hardworking. Prakash, a regular visitor to the temple festivals, had to skip the event this time due to rains the previous day. However, his brother Anil was not so lucky. Anil was grievously injured in the incident and is undergoing treatment in Trivandrum Medical College Hospital. Kerala witnessed one of its worst tragedies in recent times, and while investigations are on to ascertain who is to blame for this tragedy, hundreds of families who suffered the worst of the tragedy will never ever be the same again. Bureau Report, India Today.
I have with me over here a list of fire-related accidents since 1952, when there was a terrible tragedy at the Sabrimala temple where 68 people died. After that, in 78, in Thrissur, there were 8 people who were killed, 79 A dynamite blast in a temple, 42 killed. 1982, 32 people killed. 1984 as well, 15 people killed. 87, 20 people killed. Rahul Ishwar is now joining me. 1987, Rahul, at the Thalassery, 27 people watching the fireworks were run over by a train. In 1998, in Kochi, 10 women were killed. In 1989, in a church, 12 people were killed, again during a firework display. In 1990, at a temple in Kollam, 33 people were killed. In 1997, a blast at a cracker factory in Thrissur, 6 killed. 1999, in a temple in Palakkad, 8 killed. 2006, an explosion at a storage place in Thrissur, 6 killed. An explosion in 2011 near Shonur, 13 killed. 2013, an explosion in Palakkad where 6 people were killed. All firecracker related instances. Given the fact that this is by far the deadliest fire tragedy we've seen, is it not time for people such as yourself and others who are associated with Temple Trust to come forward and say, enough is enough, we want to leave this tradition behind? There were no firecrackers 5,000 years ago. This is a new addition to what we consider our culture and our tradition. Why can't we do away with this deadly tradition?
There are two things. There is a collective habit of people that's happening. I'm a part of many temple trusts. Even if I go there and say, let us not have this, they won't agree. So there is a collective habit of this.
Collective habit is a recent development. It's not been there
maybe hundreds of years, maybe hardly 100 or 200 years. And I concede this point. But having said that, you cannot have a total ban.
Why not?
That will backfire.
How
because
will it backfire?
It will end up in endless litigations in court. And for example, Thrissur Puram is going to happen on April 17th. I'm going to cover for Doordarshan.
Which is much bigger than this?
Which is 20 times bigger than what happened in this temple. There even tens and thousands of explosives or what firecrackers in much more right terms are kept. We agree with 2 points. One, I agree with the good intention of media in raising this. Then temples which are spending on firecrackers and elephants in the past 2 years have spent around more than 2 or 3 billion rupees.
No, why can't we do away with this?
Yeah, rather than directly saying no to this, the only possible practical solution is
why
say that
can't
50%
we say we want to ban firecrackers at these temples?
Then it will be an invasion to their personal freedom. If a temple turns up and say it is our right to do this under safety
After
checks.
10 p.m. the Supreme Court has said there can be no firecrackers going off. It's also illegal. The local district administration denied permission to this temple in Kollam to do this firecracker display. Despite that, there was a competition taking place. It's not your private tradition. This is the law, and the law applies as much to an individual as it does to a temple trust.
There is no two way about it. But having said that, the point is, see, I'm being a part of temple apparatus. Even the state government, even the judiciary and police won't intervene beyond a point for the fear of hurting cultural sensitivities, religious sensibilities.
You said multiple things. I want to bring in Sanjay Hegde because he's an eminent lawyer. With the Supreme Court, he's joining us. We are hearing Rahul Ishwar say that this is a matter of personal faith, it's a matter of culture, it's a matter of habit, it's a matter of sensitivities, and therefore firecrackers cannot be banned. So what if 109 people died? It was unfortunate, but firecrackers cannot be banned. Do you believe it's time to look beyond such immediate sensitivities, focus on the law, say if the Supreme Court says you can't have firecrackers going off after 10 p.m, it's not okay. If the district administration has denied you permission, it's denied you permission. Temple authorities are not above the law. Sanjay Hegde.
Temple or no temple, marriage or any other political rally or any other public function, where you have people assembling, you cannot have firecracker displays and you cannot store firecrackers in a manner which would be hazardous to human life. If you do so, you do it at your peril. If the administration tells you or bans you from doing it, and if such a ban is challenged, it would certainly be upheld. Because what is protected in India in the Constitution is essential religious belief. Show me one religion which claims firecrackers are part of its essential religious belief. Even essential religious belief can be curtailed or curbs, reasonable restrictions put on them in the interests of public health, morality or public order.
That's a good counter. Which is the one religion that says that bursting firecrackers in this loud and ostentatious fashion is part of our religious belief? Which religion says
when
this?
you look at the Hindu system, there is no codified text. If you want to show us a text, we will end up showing no text because there is no text. It is a part of culture, which I agree. I agree with Sanjay ji that it needs to be modified. But the only possible way is let us divert some funds for charity. Rather than putting a positive agenda, if you are going to say that you shouldn't do it, it will only backfire and nobody is going to follow it. There are reasonable pragmatic issues in following
if
this.
there are temple authorities that don't follow this, they must be booked under the law.
These are all good positions to take in a channel debate or even say that. But coming down to the line, why are politicians not taking it? It is not only because it is election time. Beyond a limit, you cannot sense herd sensitivities.
Okay, it comes down to votes. The temple authorities have a huge number of followers. Those followers are potential voters, and therefore, whether it's the left, the BJP, or the Congress in Kerala or elsewhere, political parties will not mess with these temple authorities because they ultimately bring in votes. How do you counter that, Sanjay?
Listen, if any politician were to say that for the next 1 year, out of deference to all these people who have died, we shall have no firecrackers in any public places or public functions whatsoever, and that we will review the position after 1 year, I dare any religious trust to say no, we will not obey that. This is just simply a kind of fear psychosis which prevents administrators from doing the right thing. At this moment of tragedy, if politicians and the executive do not act, then they are simply not worth their salt as administrators.
Oh, absolutely. You're making a very good point that there is a huge amount of public momentum. At this time, any person you ask will say, these firecrackers are dangerous. I've read out a whole list of very deadly firecracker-related incidences. If the netas were to come together and say, let's ban it for a year to begin with, nobody will oppose this.
Regulations.
No, but what's the point, Rahul Ishwar, of regulations if nobody follows them? These temple authorities clearly seem to think that they're above the law. In this instance, for example, in Kollam, the district collector clearly said, you cannot have a fireworks display. Let alone trying to have a competition going off between two groups. You can't have a fireworks display. Despite this has happened, so what use is that regulation of?
Yeah, true. See, we can, especially in the wake of this accident, we can implement these things in a much more better manner. A quick point, why this is happening, it's not a
you wanted to wait for 102 people to die?
No, absolutely.
So that
this
you can
is not a
implement the
skin deep and cosmetic problem. I'll tell you the reality. I am part of Hindu temple structure. See, Hindu temples have become spaces of carnival. Something like a Sunday school for our Christian brothers and Friday prayers for Muslim brothers are not there. So temples, basically, I know their thought process. They want to attract this floating devotee population. Unlike a church or a mosque.
It's not a mall. It's not a cinema hall that you want more people coming in, you want more footfall.
I agree with this point. I'm telling you very openly. I can easily cover up this point and talk. But the reality is temples are having a floating population. So they do this kind of extravaganza. And even we were on record criticizing, is this some kind of an IPL where you burst crackers? But the reality is we have to be sensitive, we have to be practical, and we have to push an agenda where you divert the fund for celebrations to charity, humanitarian purpose.
But why is that not being done? I'm sorry, I'm aghast at this argument that Christians have a Sunday prayer, Muslims have a Jummeh ki namaz on Friday, the Hindu temple trusts have nothing, therefore there must be this big celebration to bring more customers in. That sounds like the argument the marketing department. No.
Yeah,
that sounds like an argument the marketing department of a mall would make, Sanjay Hegde. Not people who believe in the faith of their religion and people who believe that people will come to them because of who they are and what they stand for. Not the kind of fireworks that go off in their campus.
I refuse to believe that God demands that the temples explode firecrackers so that I know that it is time to come to the temple. My relationship with God is personal. Anybody's relationship with God is personal. In a congregation, people have to take ordinary precautions. Those who lead the congregations have to see to it that they are also accountable to God for their negligence, to see to it that none of God's devotees dies an untimely death. Just for to attract devotees, you say you are going to do a dangerous stunt or two, it doesn't matter whether a few people die here or there. This country and its religions can't run Bhagwan Barose. in that fashion. You can't be totally carelessly and recklessly acting so that if people are saved, it's God's will, and if people die, so what, it's God's will. No. God helps those who help themselves. If you put yourself in harm's way,
point. And before I end this debate, Rahul Ishwar, final words.
See,
by being so fatalistic,
I'm being so open and honest.
No, you're being. I'm sorry.
I could have
we
given
need
a totally
to find
different argument.
solutions.
But this is the real problem. Let us understand the problem. The problem is not firecrackers. The problem is the lack of spirituality in the temples. The problem is they are showing this off. I am a part of the inner temple structure. I am conceding this because only
what's
with
the solution?
The solution is we need to divert the fund for festivities.
No, but why will they do it then? How will people come? They won't have footfall.
We can have a positive agenda. For example, we can have more annadanams, vastradanams, medical help, we can build hospitals, we can build charity centers. This is the real issue, and unless you address this, we will end up in litigations. It is easy to crack philosophies, but when you get to the crux of the problem, the lack of spirituality.
No, so what if there's litigation? Sanjay Hegde, I ask you in conclusion, let there be litigation. We've seen the judges come down hard on not allowing women into temples. Let them also deal with the issue of firecrackers. Let there be litigation. There be a conclusion there.
Absolutely, I can assure you that the judiciary will not probably come in the way of firecrackers. Forget it. Why are you asking for the judiciary or the executive to step in? Why can't we people of ordinary faith and good faith tell our temple managements, okay, please do not do something dangerous. Please do not endanger our lives when we come to temples. Please give us
I'm going to leave it over there. Sanjay
Hegde,
Rahul Ishwar for joining me. Thank you very much. I think very clearly the time has come when we say that those traditions that are deadly, that are dangerous, where people are dying, we need to put an end to those traditions. By all means, as Rahul says, there must be a focus on enhanced spirituality, because that ultimately is the purpose of having a temple, a place of worship. The point of having a temple is not that it has a very ostentatious fireworks display. That was never the purpose, that was never the intent in any religious text, and therefore you need to ensure that this vote bank pressure, that there are voters, that there are devotees and they matter in an election, you need to put that aside. Only then will these deaths stop. Otherwise, we're just condemned to wait till the next such terrible accident. Let me now get you all the other big news headlines that have made it to the newsroom tonight. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi addressed a massive rally in Nagpur, just a couple of kilometers away from the RSS headquarters. The rally was organized as a concluding event of the Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar birth anniversary celebrations. Rahul attacked the Modi government, saying it is anti-Dalit and is being run by the RSS. A fire broke out at a dumping ground in Mumbai's Mulund area. The blaze erupted around 1 p.m. and still hasn't been brought fully under control. The smoke from the fire has covered Mulund East, parts of Bhandup and Thane. A brutal bashing of a man with sticks and lathis in Rohtak has been caught on CCTV camera. The shocking images show 5 people brutally assaulting a youth in the middle of a crowded marketplace. The provocation for the assault is believed to be some outstanding amount involved in a transaction of a flat. The Bombay High Court has refused to stay the release of Shah Rukh Khan's star Fan following a suit filed by a writer alleging copyright infringement. The court asked the actor and the movie's producer Yash Raj Films to file their replies within 2 weeks. Fan releases on the 15th of April. Television producer Rahul Raj Singh, accused of abetting suicide of his actor's girlfriend Pratyusha Banerjee, has approached the Bombay High Court seeking pre-arrest bail. On the 7th of April, a sessions court rejected Rahul's anticipatory bail application. Rahul's bail plea is likely to be heard tomorrow. We've now got breaking news coming in that finally 3 women have stepped forward in Murthal to claim that they were raped. Remember, the Murthal gang rape story had gone viral, with the Haryana government being accused of not being able to protect women in Murthal when the Jat agitation was taking place. The government dismissed this as being a fabricated story being propped up by opposition. Initially, no victim had come forward, and therefore there was a huge amount of confusion about whether this was just a media report, a social media report, or whether it was for real. Now, the government has admitted before the Punjab and Haryana High Court that there indeed was a gang rape in Murthal. 3 women have come forward. I want to go across to my colleague Manjeet Saigal, who's breaking the story for us tonight from Chandigarh. Manjeet, what details can you give us about why these women have come forward now? Why didn't they come forward initially? And what does the government intend to do about this?
Well, Rahul, Punjab and Haryana High Court has castigated the Haryana police for the willful and terrible suppression of facts about the alleged Murthal gang rape. Now, there are 3 complaints. The police today in its the SIT found by the Haryana government in its report submitted to the Punjab and Haryana High Court said that it is investigating 2 complaints. One complaint was received from an NRI through a news channel, and another complaint was sent by one of the victims by the speed post to the from Faridabad. So the police told the court that it is investigating 2 complaints. And meanwhile, the amicus curiae appointed by the Punjab and Haryana High Court, Anupam Gupta, has also told the court that he has video recordings of another rape victim who has said that she was also raped. So these 3 complaints have come to the light, Rahul. And meanwhile, a Chandigarh-based NGO, Haryana Human Rights Organization, has said that Dr. Rajshri, the former SIT chief, misled the court, and it will move the court. It will move an application against her about the contempt of court petition.
Very, very serious indeed. Finally, women coming forward claiming that they were gang raped. The Murthal gang rape was a shocking story, initially denied by the government. Now the government forced to admit in a court of law that there indeed was a gang rape in Murthal at the time of the Jat agitation. Manjeet Saigal breaking that story for us tonight from Chandigarh. In a shocking incident, a Congress MLA was roughed up by 2 BJP members in Gondia in Maharashtra. The BJP Shiv Sena government in Maharashtra has distanced itself from the Shiv Sharma, the BJP leader who thrashed the councillor. In a statement in the assembly, the chief minister condemned the incident. Here's what happened.
Shocking attack on a Congress MLA by a BJP councillor caught on camera. BJP councillor Shiv Sharma seen storming a press meet by Congress MLA Gopal Das Agrawal, marching up to the dais and assaulting him. Sharma was accompanied by another member of the BJP as he attacked the Gondia MLA and his son. Sharma and his accomplice assaulted them and tore their clothes. The Congress MLA had to be admitted to hospital after the assault. The incident has sparked a war of words.
ये गोंदिया के सर्वसामान्य लोगों की आवाज को दबाने का प्रयत्न गुंडागर्दी के माध्यम से जो करने का प्रयत्न चालू है,
तत्काल उसको पक्ष के निकालने की कार्रवाई कर लिया हूं। लेकिन जो हमारे माननीय गोपाल जी अग्रवाल ने जो आरोप लगाया कि गुंडा राज में यानी भाजपा के राज में गुंडागर्दी हो रही है, ये इनका जो आरोप है ये निराधार है, कोई आधार ही नहीं।
The BJP Shiv Sena government in Maharashtra has distanced itself from Shiv Sharma. In a statement in the Maharashtra Assembly, Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis condemned the incident. Sharma is now absconding and police was searching for him in Madhya Pradesh and Nagpur.
While making a statement on the floor of the House, CM made it clear that he condemns such attacks and culprits will not be spared. But the big question is that where is attacker Shiv Sharma? It's been more than 48 hours and even police have no clue about it. Will Maharashtra CM, will Maharashtra government will bring all the culprits in this particular case to the justice or not? That we have to wait and see what exactly Maharashtra CM takes steps about it. In Mumbai with camera person Mangesh Sawant, Mayuresh Kanpate for India Today.
Another news coming in, and a tragic one. Once again, a bus has rolled down into Chenab River in Jammu and Kashmir's Doda district. 5 commuters have been killed on the spot. Dozen others